Hello, my fellow Extraordinary Americans. I'm Cosmos Dar, and this is Extraordinary America. What is Extraordinary America about? You see, American identity is about freedom, the opportunity for a better life, and the pursuit of happiness. Welcome to Extraordinary America. For today's guest, we have Eric Brown. Eric is the founder and CEO of Imperial Consulting. He's an innovative leader with over 24 years of experience in the Special Forces as a Green Beret. During his military career, Eric led complex operations across 12 countries, excelling in crisis management, team building, and strategic planning. His achievements include the Defense Meritorious Service Medal and 4 Bronze Stars. As the founder and CEO of Imperial Consulting, Eric integrates his military background with sharp business acumen to develop customized solutions for C-suite executives and leadership teams. His approach, rooted in simplicity, adaptability, and collaboration, enables organizations to navigate challenges, build trust, and achieve exceptional outcomes. Eric has been featured in the HCL Review, Business.com, and Fast Company. He's an extraordinary American, and I'm glad to have him on the show. Eric, are you there?
I'm here. Thank you for having me on the show today.
Thank you, Eric, so much for taking the time to do this podcast. So, could you tell me and the audience a little bit more about your story, your background, and how you got started?
Sure, man. Going way back, from the mountains of North Carolina. I grew up as a military kid. Got to travel all around the world. One highlight of that, I actually lived in Berlin, Germany when the wall came down. So
Wow.
that was a big deal for myself. Joined the Army. Started off as a 19 Delta Cavalry Scout, which sounds cool, but really wasn't that cool to me. So I decided to become a Green Beret, and that was it, man. Loved it. Got to travel around the world, meet amazing people, do amazing things. I got out just now about 2 years ago. I wanted to keep helping people, so that's why I started Imperia.
So, Eric, getting into the Green Beret it takes a lot of discipline and a lot of like physical endurance and everything. So, my question to you, for the sake of the audience, is what are like the lessons you learned during your time in the military that you still remember up to now?
I'd say a big lesson from being in the military is you can't do everything by yourself. So the importance of working with a team, knowing your team, just knowing you can accomplish more working as a team, making sure you keep your word and do what you're going to say. And then another thing that we take away is this saying from a friend of mine, Aaron Bush, say, "Show me, don't tell me." So, show up, do like you're supposed to do, excel, and don't tell people what you're going to do, just do it.
Well, I mean, it's a lot of people like they say a lot of things, but then they don't follow through. So I think what you're saying is that like you were taught to do the opposite, just like follow with your actions. Then.
Yeah. Actions speak louder than words. And then also when you're working with people, treat people right. Don't take advantage of folks, and everything will turn out good for you.
So Eric, like, what was your strategic vision from the time that you were a Green Beret to like where you're right now? Like, how did it evolve during that time, and what led you to doing what you're doing right now?
Well, when we were on the teams as a Green Beret, it's a small team. It's only 12 people, and we're able to accomplish quite a bit of things working together. As I got out, I saw a gap in the private sector where people or as working on teams didn't really have that connection where they can excel and reach that next level. So that is what I wanted to do, is bring the skills we had on the ODAs and Special Forces teams into the private sector to help them overcome change and achieve whatever challenge you're trying to accomplish.
So Eric, as a follow-up on this, like, what are the skills do they actually teach you in the Green Beret that they don't teach you in the other like other divisions of the armed forces, or like in the outside world?
Good question, man. Well, to start off, you're specially selected, so you have to go through an assessment by yourself. So lots of land navigation, walking through the woods, finding points with a map and compass. You learn a lot about yourself on how to be a leader, a lot about discipline, endurance. The other thing, as you you move forward into the qualification course, and you're assigned your specialty, right? So you're assigned a specialty. Mine happened to be an 18 Bravo, which is a weapons specialist. So learn like 220 different types of guns and weapon systems, how to use them. We taught a language. Mine happened to be Spanish, and then you become a expert in the area of the world that you're going to work in. As there's 5 special forces groups across the world, and 2 National Guard groups, each with an area of responsibility of the world. Mine was 7th group, which was South America, and then we spent quite a bit of time in Afghanistan.
Wow, Eric, a lot of respect for that because it can be pretty intense. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it's very physically tasking and like there's a lot of endurance tests to get into the Green Beret in the first place, right? Like it's not it's like
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is you're walking through the woods, with anywhere from 60 to 80 pounds on your back, walking 12 to 20 miles a day, completing
wow.
tasks. It takes a lot out of you. I luckily went when I was young, so definitely wouldn't want to do it again. A long
So
21 days.
wow, Eric, like and that is pretty intense. But my question would be like, what is the motivational factor that drives you, that allows you to have the disposition to be in the Green Beret and also apply it to business outside? Like, what it like? Because most people cannot do what you're doing. Like they would not get to that level. Like it's like probably the top 1% of like physical endurance. So, what motivates and drives you to go through all the pain and all the suffering?
It comes down to goal setting, where you want to be in your life. So, like I said, when in my regular Army job, I wasn't being fulfilled, right? It wasn't giving me what I needed in life. I saw the mission of the Green Berets and Special Forces, what they do, deploying forward, working with others in other countries, being very fulfilling. So I had to set a goal of how to achieve that. First thing was to get in shape, then go to the selection. Past that, while you're there, you learn not only that you're doing it for yourself, but also those that are to your left and right. So you keep doing that because you want to reach your goal. And then that translates directly into business. How I can see it is, hey, if you want to start a business, anyone can start a business, right? But you got to take that leap of faith. Same way we took the leap of faith to try to be a Green Beret. A lot of folks go and try to be a Green Beret and are not selected. I think percentage always changes, but out of maybe 33% actually passed, right, of achieving that. As you're starting a small business, you set your goal of what you want to do, and you just have to keep knocking those things down that allow you to achieve that. So I think what my previous in the military, especially in special operations, gave me that drive and ambition to be able to translate that into the private sector.
So Eric, I have a mindset question to ask you. So like it's about fear, right? So a lot of people like they have to when they're doing business, they want to start a business, they have to go through a lot of fears, like emotional fears and basically fears about like money management, all that stuff. So from
Yeah.
your from your perspective, being in the military, how do you go about overcoming fear, even though it's a real part, like failure is a very real part of like life?
Yeah, well, you can always say if you're not failing, you're not learning new things, right? Because you're never good at something as soon as you start it out. You got to keep practicing things. How to overcome fear is to ensure that you're prepared for whatever task that you're going to do, right? If you're going to, let's say you want to go run a marathon, you're not just going to show up that day and run 26 miles. You're going to train for months before that. So the same thing if you're going to start a business. Sure, tons of fear in that, right? Because you're doing something that everyone does. You're leaving the comfort of that stable paycheck coming every week or every 2 weeks to do something you love. So you plan that out. So you're not just jumping head first and not knowing what you're doing. You set benchmarks and goals and figure out what you have to achieve, and that's how you overcome fear is by being prepared.
No, I mean that's true. Like preparation plays a role, and so does training as well. Because I know that I know that like when training comes, there's like discipline, and then that helps overcome fear to a large degree as well.
And sometimes you just got to get up and do it, man. You just got to just go for it.
So, Eric, what in your from your perspective, what would be the greatest revelation or lesson you learned during your time in the armed forces and also consulting businesses?
I'd say they're kind of one and the same. While I was in special forces, I was amazed of what people could accomplish if they set their mind to it. Especially folks that there's people that you thought couldn't do something, but then they achieved it. The same way working with companies, a lot of times we ensure that we give everyone a voice. A lot of times, the leader's the only ones talking, and that's where we find success in special forces is that we take into account the entire team to help accomplish the mission. So everyone's part counts. So we bring that same mindset into the private sector with our clients. Like, hey, just because they're a junior member of your team doesn't mean they could not have a solution. So we try to give them a voice. So you never know where that winning idea will come from. So that's where I've been really surprised, both in my military and private, in the private sectors. The answers usually come from somewhere unexpected.
So, usually, like one thing I've noticed, Eric, during my time, like in the business world as well, and I've noticed a lot of people like come out of the military. They have had when they're transitioning from the military to doing like a job or like starting a business. Like there's a different type of there's a transition process which is kind of difficult. So, for the sake of like the audience, like how should somebody that's transitioning from the military go about doing business or going into the private sector?
Yeah, definitely in transitioning is hard because a lot of us, we like myself, I joined the Army at age 18 and kept the same job for 24, 25 years. So that transition into the new part of my life was difficult. Where I found success, I went through a nonprofit group called the Honor Foundation, who is especially for special operations soldiers transitioning, where they give you some of those skill sets, those tools, and a mentor to help you gradually over a couple months figure out those new skills and meet new people within the area that you want to go into. So from my mentor, I learned quite a bit about the business world. And I would say as you're transitioning, don't look at whatever your next job is going to be forever. It's just the next step to where you want to go. And then if there's something you want to do, find somebody that does that already and talk to them. You might find out like, oh, wow, that's not what I thought it was. Or you find out, hey, that's exactly what I want to do. So I've always found the best way, if you're going to do something, find somebody that's already doing it and learn from them.
I mean, that's what you're saying is right. Like, it's a common theme that I've learned like during my time like interviewing guests is like mentorship and community usually tend to accelerate transition process and also like growth when it comes to like financial freedom or anything, like usually
Yeah,
when
you
you
got to
have.
find, they're saying to find your new tribe, right? The Army was your tribe. As you're getting out, you find that new sector that you're going into and integrate into that. Doesn't mean you're losing your identity of where you were at before. You're just gaining a new perspective and learning more and growing as a person.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed, Eric, is that a lot of people, like when they're transitioning through their lives, like their identity is what stops them from actually getting to the new level in life. Like they are stuck to the past. So, from your perspective, how would somebody let go of like certain aspects of the past in order to accelerate growth in the future?
I would say just on your identity, like your job never defines who you are. It's a job, right? This is what you do. What defines you are the actions that you take. So when you want to transition into something new, uh, one, make sure that's what you want to do. But find out what it's all about, and then learn from it, and then gradually go into it, and keep the good things from whatever you're transitioning out of. Take that with you, and the things you don't need or were negative, leave them behind, and just go forward and do your new thing.
So, Eric, what was like a challenge that you had in your life? Like one of a significant time or like a challenge that you had, like, and how did you go about overcoming it? Like, especially whether it's like in the armed forces or like while you're doing business.
Yeah. One of my most significant challenges I've talked about before. I was on one of my deployments to Afghanistan. I lost three of my really good friends all at once in
Sorry.
an ID initiated ambush. If you think about a 12-man team and you lose three people at one time, right? It's like a third of the team. So it was really hard to come back from of that horrific event. Getting over it, you just learned to actually talking about it, moving forward with your life, and then living for those that aren't able to be there with you, or move forward with their own lives and living for them. So overcoming that, the extreme challenge the same way in the private sector. I always joke, and some people think it's whatever, not a good joke, but anytime in the private sector and something's going bad, I was like, well, at least no one's shooting at me, so I don't really have to worry about it. It's not that bad, so I can get over it.
Well, Eric, I'm sorry for your loss, and I have like I respect like what you all do to protect the country, you know. And one of the things that I wanted to understand is like, how do you overcome, like, go past like emotional pain and everything like that, like for the sake of the audience, because it can be very intense, and like people, like, a lot of people complain, as you mentioned, in real life about trivial matters, but what the armed forces go through is actual like real stuff, you know. Like, a lot of people complain like, oh, I lost my car, or I lost this or that,
Yeah.
but it's like nothing compared to like what people in the military have to go through.
I'd say, I mean, it evolved over time. When in my younger days in the military, you're taught not to talk about it. Just put it away and just move forward. We've grown past that. Everyone has their own way of dealing with their grief or whatever they have going on. I found a lot of help on seeking out like an actual within our resources and special forces. We had a psychologist on staff, so going to like an actual psychologist, therapist type person and talking about that really helped me out. Might not be for everyone else. You could maybe talk to your friend or whatever, but you got to talk and get it out, and then just move on.
I see. Yeah, sometimes we all forget, like, because I think like when we're in like a first world country, or like we have like all these life becomes like very comforting, and we think that we have problems in our life, but then when we go to the real world, we go to like war or something, like that's an actual problem or issue, and then that's when people realize how good their lives actually are, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you don't have to go to war. I mean, you just go to some of the unfortunately poorer countries in the world, and people would have a different aspect on life. That's why America's great, right? We don't have the crazy problems of. I mean, think about how many you got a Starbucks on every other corner, a grocery store on every other corner. It's the amount of resources you have are overwhelming, opposed to other parts of the world where they're not as lucky as we are to be American.
Yeah, Eric, that's one thing I noticed when I came over here. I feel like a lot of people, like, they just take the freedoms that America has for granted, because they've never been to other countries. But like a lot of people, like, when they come here, they realize like a lot of like the issues that they have in other nations are not over here. Like, the regards to like being able to take care of yourself, pay the bills, having a roof over your head, like having food and all of that stuff.
Yep, for sure. I agree with you a lot. Yeah, just got to get out there and see the world, man. Try to get as many places you can to give you that perspective.
Yeah, ultimately, I think it's all about contrast, you know? Like, when you have a contrast and you see the other side, that's only when you're able to appreciate what you already have in life. That's one of the things that I noticed. Like, that's one of the revelations I've had. Like, people don't appreciate what they have unless they've gone and seen what other people don't have. And I think that's why God created contrasts in life, for us to appreciate what we all usually have.
Yep, you got to see how other people live and to be able to appreciate what you have. So there's there's always people that have a better life than you, and there's always people that have a worse life than you. So that's why you just live your life. Don't worry about other people.
Totally. So Eric, like Extraordinary America, like was like I created Extraordinary America for like Americans to like understand their identity regarding the financial front for financial freedom, because we're ultimately a nation that's about freedom. So from your perspective, how should Americans go about attaining financial freedom in their lives? And like how should they go about starting a business? Like from your perspective, like being in the armed forces, like what type of mindset should they have?
Uh, a can-do mindset. If there's something you want to achieve, especially if there's financial freedom, you're gonna have to have the mindset and discipline to do that, and the drive to make it happen. So you're gonna have to make some sacrifices along the way of, let's say, especially not going out to eat every day, or using that money there to where you could use it for vacation. Maybe you're gonna use it to invest in yourself, to learn a new skill, to be able to achieve that next level of what you're trying to do. And on starting a business, I mean, if that's what you want to do, you got to find that gap of whatever service you're going to provide, that it's a needed service, and do the best job you can to provide that service at the best way you can.
So, Eric, from your perspective, like, what is, from your perspective, what is your version of what the American dream is about? Because, like, when we talk about the American dream, it's a pretty general term and it means different things to different people. So, what is your version of the American dream, and how do you go about acquiring it?
I guess the American dream is to be able to really just have the freedom to do whatever you want. If you wake up in the morning, you have endless options. Is how I see the American dream. You can literally achieve anything here. There's no rules that are holding you back. The only thing that can hold you back from achieving something is yourself. Um, and on achieving that is just getting up and going to do it. Um, my American dream is just being able to wake up and do whatever I want with my life, and then that's where I see it. Doesn't matter where I'm at, as long as I'm able to have the freedom to do what I want to do.
No, I mean, I couldn't agree more. The ability to do whatever you want and like wake up and live your life on your terms is ultimately the best thing one can actually ever experience. But most people don't tend to experience that because, uh, like, even though they have an identity of freedom, they're not going about trying to live life on their terms. People end up living life for other people a lot of the times.
Yeah, they're really about their image and what other people think about them. You just gotta worry about just achieving your own goals. Uh, there's always going to be somebody there to criticize you or tell you not to do something. I just always just don't pay any mind to them and just keep doing what you're doing. If it's the right thing, it's the right thing, and you'll have success. And they'll still be there complaining about whatever they didn't do.
Yeah, that is there. And Eric, if you could turn back time, like let's say like you had like a time machine and you could go back to your 10-year-old self and like give him like a lesson to be learned like for like the future and everything. You could talk to your 10 year old self. What would you tell that person?
Uh, don't think things for granted, and just learn as much as you can. Uh, I think my 10-year-old self, I think I was in Germany at that time. I'd probably tell him to I paid more attention in German class and took the opportunity to actually learn German when I was there, uh, and take advantage of every time the different places I got to go.
Yeah, I think like I can tell you like what I would like if I could go back in time and tell my 10-year-old self, I would like actually tell him that like there's a huge world out there and like there's just different types of people and there's different cultures, but then you just have to be curious and you have to try to understand other people. And
Yeah, I agree.
there's like different places, but like there's some places that are just like you just have to accept like life is about learning, and you can either learn from people what to do or you can learn from people what not to do. Because that's one thing that I've understood throughout like my life. Like every person that I've met in my life, like they taught me something, like either like how to not do things or how to do things.
For sure. Yeah. You gotta, so I say, you said it earlier, talking with me, find a mentor. That's the big thing to have. Find somebody that has achieved more than you and is doing something you want to do, and have them mentor you to the next level.
Totally. And Eric, can you tell me, the audience, a little bit more about Imperial Consulting and like the premise of how you started this and a little bit more about what it's about?
Sure. Starting at Imperial, I did try to help others, right? How do you work better as a team and overcome challenges? The premise I was taking what we had on our small elite teams as Green Berets and bringing that to a company. So we customize solutions for mid-sized enterprise companies where, example one was doing a merger and acquisition of acquiring four other companies. How do you pull those four different companies' cultures now together? How do you do that and go? We call the program from me to we, and we do that in a systematic process called what we call the Green Beret approach, where we teach people a way to overcome their challenges by setting up systems and working together and learning more about themselves to overcome whatever the challenge they got going on.
Well, that's amazing. And like yeah, from my perspective, the way I see it is like the Green Berets they're like one of the best in the armed forces, and I would definitely recommend anybody to definitely check out more of like what Imperial Consulting is about. Because you wanna obviously learn from the best. And Eric, well, are there any other projects that you're working on that you'd want the audience to get a glimpse into?
We lately we getting a little bit more of e-learning opportunities. So we have on our website at imperial-consulting.com a link to our e-learning where we're starting to put more products there that people can do at their own pace and learn different skill sets.
I see. And so, Eric, how can our audience get to connect with you if they want to connect with you or get to know more about your Imperial Consulting if they wanted to do so?
Number one way would be the website, imperial-consulting.com. The other, you can look myself up, Eric Brown, and Imperial on LinkedIn. It's probably the platform I'm most active on.
Eric, thank you for that, and I really appreciate that you took the time to come to this podcast and then like share your experience and like your mindset about like Green Beret and its application to business. Because and I really respect everything that you've done for our country, and I do hope that you take the time to come on this podcast at a later time.
Hey, I appreciate the time and great meeting you. A great show. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that. And I want to conclude this episode by letting my fellow extraordinary Americans know that, hey, look, there's an extraordinary within each and every one of us. It's our duty to awaken it and unleash it. Until next time, bye for now. Hey, everyone. Thank you for watching Extraordinary America. If you like what you see, please do subscribe to our podcast and share it with others. Remember that the best investment that you can make in your lifetime is in your own financial education, for it is knowledge that truly sets us free. Also, remember that inflation is diluting your purchasing power, which in turn increases financial bondage. The practical thing to do is to protect the loss of your purchasing power and invest in precious metals or the right cryptocurrencies. Lastly, never forget that you are an extraordinary American. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.